Ian,
Yeah.
we love talking about Kickstarters on this show.
Oh God, we sure do.
And we didn't want to have a hot take on this because I had no hot take at first. You know, we weren't first to the punch. We're old men. We're in our 30s, and sometimes we need a little time to, have the thoughts and form and gel and congeal in our head before we come out and talk about a topic.
I gotta steep my bones in Earl Grey tea and rub masks on my face. And...
You have to look at the tea leaves to see what is this telling me. But we originally spoke about the Dreamcade Replay Kickstarter.
Yeah, we covered this thoroughly last year.
A year ago. And we had issues with it.
Considerable issues.
The price was, we thought, out of this world. So the Dreamcade, what the fuck is it called? Dreamcade Replay Universal Vintage Gaming Console. The Kickstarter from last year featured
the one true king.
Featured a tabletop mini arcade cabinet option, a joystick and buttons, layout with the rollerball, and a cute looking Atari 2600 little console, all built on some sort of AMD Athlon Windows-based machine. And it included emulators. It was supposed to include built-in games, and it had compatibility with Netflix, Twitch, a streaming service, Hulu. You can get all that stuff on Windows Store. And, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to have a built-in search engine to automatically grab ROMs from the internet and put on the machine to play instantly.
Legal! So
that was obviously our biggest concern with it. And Dreamcade, whatever, Replay LLC, whatever, Dream Arcades Inc., actually commented. Go back and look at our original covers. They came after us in the comments. They wanted to appear on the podcast to rebut our claims. No. But they had some, let's just say, erroneous views of what is legal when it comes to ROMs. So they claim that since you can back up and archive ROMs, that means you can just play them from a machine. Not just that, but then search for them from websites like archive.com and grab them and play them on your machine. The most backwards, just insane view of what's legal with emulation. And again, me and Ian are not against emulation.
No, not at all. But you just can't sell it like this.
But we will call out weird propositions of illegally making profit off of emulation. I think that's the line me and Ian sort of have when it comes to this.
No, that's exactly it. When you're profiting off of emulation, that's when I start to have definite issues because you're fleecing people for something that they can do with a little bit of their own work.
So the other issue I had was the price for this Dreamcade Replay Classic was $289. The Kickstarter price, regularly $399. So not just the fact that it was really just in a bad spot in terms of what it was offering, in our opinion, but the cost was out of this frickin' world.
Now here's the crazy thing.
What's the crazy thing, Ian?
Well, the Replay Dream Arcade has been relaunched.
The Kickstarter is back.
The Kickstarter's back, and magically, the Dreamcade Replay DX Early Bird, the same exact one that you were talking about, is
similar.
Is now only $129.
Or $99 for the bring your own controller version. Okay, so it didn't. They canceled the Kickstarter last year because it wasn't close to the goal.
Right.
I think it was under 50% of the goal, and they just canceled it. They bring it back and they relaunched it on. It was July 16th. It hit the goal in 24 hours. It hit the $30,000 goal in 24 hours, which was interesting. However, in this version. Now it's the Dreamcade Replay, one console to rule them all, like Lord of the Rings, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It's a similar Atari 2600 version, but now for some reason it's $200 cheaper. That to me that's red flags to me.
Yes.
Big red flags. Same shit inside, right? They're basically running a similar promo video on the page.
It's either the same shit inside or slightly better because time has improved, yet somehow this has magically dropped substantially from what they were asking last year.
Sure. But now, they still brought back their game search option. Our exclusive Retro Reload Google Safe Search takes the worry out of finding new games, whether it's commercial sites like Steam-powered Good Old Gamer or online libraries like the Internet Archive. We make sure your searches are always family, safe, and virus-free. So they're including this ROM search function, again, in this machine.
Right.
Not just that. They're doing something which... cool on the surface, again, is troublesome. So now they're going to have an app where you take a picture of a cartridge, and that will magically pull the ROM from somewhere online. God, I really hope these aren't sitting on your servers at the Dreamcade Replay.
Yeah.
Because where are you pulling these ROMs from? Okay, I'm getting Guerrilla War. Great game. Oh, I need a label upgrade. So according to this app, that's what would be included with this. I would take a picture of Guerrilla War. It would automatically get that ROM from some magical place and drop it into my library. Do you see problems with this, Ian?
Oh, yeah, I see huge problems with this. Namely, say, like, well, they're taking a picture of an Atari cartridge. This is supposed to be proof of ownership, right? Well, we leave all the Atari cartridges out in stacks at the store. Someone can come in and take pictures of all the Atari cartridges.
Or I just go on a fucking website
and take a picture
of the cartridge on a website. Is it sophisticated enough to know where I'm taking the pictures at? Probably not. If I go to a convention like Classic Game Fest and just take pictures of every fucking game I see, is that proof of ownership? And even so, doing that, again, where are these ROMs coming from? Where are they getting pulled from? That's just a really weird feature that can be easily abused.
Yeah.
But to tout that as a main feature, that's really strange. And again, it has, this is very similar to the console last year. Let's see, it's a 2.2 gigahertz Intel processor, 4 gigabytes of RAM, Windows 10, Bluetooth, expansion slots, and network. Over 2 times faster than any Raspberry Pi. Should be if it's based upon, an Intel processor. That's the good news. So you'll be able to get, I guess, even PlayStation games going.
And some N64.
So you might ask yourself, Ian.
I might.
How, if this failed to get going last year, did this hit the goal so quickly?
TV.
So, and this is what, if you want to get the news out first, you should report on stuff like we're about to talk about. Because it's very important in terms of the story of this console.
Yeah.
So Steve Harvey has a new show. Has a new show called, who has screwed up views on other issues we won't get into, but has a new show called Funderdome. Very clever. Funderdome. What is Funderdome? Well, if you've seen shows like Shark Tank, which by the way, I love Shark Tank, because you actually have people that are knowledgeable in business and know what will work for a specific industry or not, and give actually really good advice.
The few episodes I've seen were actually pretty deep. I think I've seen a few over here.
Yes, they're great. And you actually learn a little bit about how you should run a business watching them. So imagine the idiotic version of that, where
good.
So if you think that's dumbed down to some extent, this is 2 people showing off their product, one versus the other, and the products have nothing to do with each other. They're not even in the same genre of products. So
this makes curly fries. This plays video games.
Not so far off. So for example, the one I saw, and damn you, if nothing else, damn you, doing this Kickstarter for making me go and watch Funderdome, which by the way is on ABC Go, and it's episode 5 if you want to watch it.
Thanks for taking that bullet for me.
Yes. with the 14 minutes of commercial breaks every 5 minutes too. So the first, for example, the first items to go up against each other was a pool cozy that floats in the water. You can put your drink down. Actually, not a bad idea. Going up though against a fishing caddy. So we're talking entirely different. The only similarity.
Water.
That's the only similarity. Even Steve Harvey said the only similarity in these products is that they both use water in some way. So on the show, the audience members in the Funderdome, in a circular Funderdome, vote for which Funderdome. They vote for which of the 2 gets the funding. So this was for the first ones I saw for this pool cozy and for fishing gear thing, floaty thing, was $20,000. So, but you could opt to take a whatever payment if you thought you were going to lose. So the one guy for the cozies took they took $5,000 just to make sure they got it. The other guy got his $20,000. So the Dreamcade Replay appeared on the show to get $100,000 opposite this nice dear old woman who built the Yarn It, which was a plastic holder for yarn balls so that they didn't spill over and become unwound. Actually, not a terrible idea, and she built these herself. So she took the payout going up against the Dreamcade Replay. She took a payout I think of like $20 or $25,000 that she got. So I'm happy about that because they said the split was 53 to 47%. The reason that Dreamcade Replay went on the show to get the $100,000, they claimed was to license games.
Now, is this pre-Kickstarter?
Here's the thing, Ian. This episode premiered the same day the Kickstarter went online, July 16th. According to ABC.com's date, it was July 16th that it aired. That's when this went online. So, of course, the Dreamcade Replay team would be smart and say, oh, we have publicity going on a show on ABC. It's being seen by millions of people. Let's launch at the same time because they can go and Google it and see it. That's how they hit their goal so quickly to begin with. But what's strange about them getting that $100,000 for their words to license the games.
So they have nothing licensed.
Well, no, because right before this podcast, for a few days, there was a legal dispute, a copyright claim over this campaign. Because previously, there was a list of 100 games that were included, which included Atari games. Games like Centipede. Games like Asteroids. I think you had Gravatar in there, I believe, and some others.
Right.
You know, the ones you'll probably see on, you'll see some of those on like the Atari flashbacks, for example. So at the time when this went online, and for the first, let's just say, couple of weeks they were displaying a list of games that they were claiming were going to be included that were licensed. At the time, were not licensed. By their own words, they were still in negotiations to license those games.
Right. Which you can't say it's coming with over 100 games, including Atari games, if those negotiations haven't been inked. And right here, very last line of the Kickstarter, software licensing has been negotiated, but has not yet been signed for game packs. Titles may change. So it doesn't sound like anything has been licensed yet. But it says that it's going to include 100 games. But we have no idea what games you're getting included in the 100. And this is, I don't know if people exactly know what they get. I don't know if people really understand what they're getting.
Well, that's the thing. And that's the danger of when these sort of items reach the mass market. Because they don't understand the technology involved. They don't understand legality of, for example, licensing 30-year-old games. Why is it wrong to have a snapshot ROM loading function on your console? The dangers in that legally. Mm-hmm. They don't get that. Steve Harvey was struggling to understand what the hell it was. When they said, well, you can play 10,000 games, he was like, how could you play 10,000 games in this little box? He has no idea what emulators are. They didn't explain it. He asked them,
how do you fit all of them?
And I'm not going to get on the couple for going on the Steve Harvey show for getting $100,000 to license games which they haven't licensed yet, because it was great publicity. But when you go on touting yourself as an inventor, and when someone asks, how are you doing this? How are you doing this? You might want to explain that, hey, we're taking open source emulators and throwing them into a fucking box.
Yeah, it's not really being an inventor.
You're not inventing really anything.
People have been doing this shit for years.
So I have a problem morally with that more than anything.
Yeah. While
this poor old lady next to them actually invented something. So just weirdness all around. The campaign went back online with mysteriously that graphic list of 100 games, including the Atari games, is gone. Because I think they had to do that. I mean, some of the updates, even if you want to get into some of the updates.
I just want to bring up this update because this is strange. So this was this was prior to them being shut down for a few days. I wanted to let everyone know that we were contacted by a third-party law firm requesting that we remove the list of Atari games. We've been working for several months with a top person in Atari's licensing arm, and have even met with one of the corporate executives regarding licensing for the replay. In fact, the last email we received from Atari about licensing was just 2 days before the Kickstarter went live, July 14th. The people at Atari have all been great to work with. Even though we aren't a large company, they were still eager to make a deal that worked for everyone. So I'm almost positive that this letter is just a mistake. It wasn't. Probably accidentally issued by a third-party firm. Nope. And that this will be cleared up right away. something got cleared up.
Yeah, they took down the list of Atari games because they're using that to promote their Kickstarter.
In the meantime, I've removed the list of games until I get a reply from my contact at Atari to sort this out, which apparently hasn't happened yet. Still, I personally want to assure everyone that I've been working with Atari on licensing, and they were waiting for a final number of licenses needed. Even if for some reason we are not able to offer licensing through them, I will honor my commitment to each and every backer by making sure every replay shipped will have access to the 100 promised games at a minimum via digital download, as we can purchase them online.
As a minimum via digital download, as we can purchase them online. So he's trying to say that I will buy them myself for you to put in onto your unit somehow?
I don't know. I guess, yeah. Probably through Steam, because it says a Steam support, but that's a bold promise to make. And I realize it either means, I mean, they're kind of in a situation where they don't say that and they lose backers because there's no games included, or they say it and they paint themselves into a corner where they're paying out the ass in the event that Atari doesn't license the games to all of their backers and buying 100 Atari games for everyone.
I just think it's weird that you go on a show specifically to say we need $100,000 for licensing, and then you start your Kickstarter on top of that as they're getting that $100,000 without the licensing for those games that you went on the Funderdome for.
Right.
Why not just wait then until you have it sorted out with Atari? Because other ventures like the Watch, for example, have the full licensing up front. Mm-hmm. They didn't wait till after the fact in order to get the licensing. That's what's just weird to me about it. Hell, if you want to say, okay, we think we're going to get licensing for 2,000 units for the 100 games, and then we'll work it out for something after the fact. You're telling me that you have to wait until a Kickstarter ends in order to work out an agreement of licensing?
No.
That's the only option that Atari would have given you? I highly doubt that. Highly doubt that. That doesn't seem like that'd be a smart way, because as we've seen Atari throwing their games out to everyone for Kickstarters and everything else.
Yeah.
So I don't see them being, or maybe you work it out, maybe work out a price per unit beforehand. So this is just, I don't want to say total shadiness, but this was just done. Obviously, they got the publicity for the show. They launched the Kickstarter at the same time without having their ducks in a row, and they capitalized on it. They capitalized on the publicity from the show, and also partially using the list of Atari games that are not included at this point on this console.
Correct.
So there you have it. So check it out. If something you want to invest in and go for it. That's all I'm going to say. I don't have an interest in this personally.